For years, Savannah real estate was a robust flipping market for people interested in buying homes, fixing them up, and then selling them for a profit. But what happens if factors reverse that once predictable pattern? Patrick Hanlon is the CEO of Savannah Home Buyers. He's joining us this morning with a look at a growing housing trend known as negative equity. Morning, great to see you. But I've got to ask you, if negative is in the term, this is not a good thing.
It's not a good thing, especially if you plan on selling. So how do you get here? If you purchased your home, let's say 2 years ago, you didn't put any money down, and you financed a lot of the closing costs, there's a high likelihood right now that you owe more than what your home is actually worth.
Wow.
We call that negative equity.
Okay, and this is something that you're saying is kind of more pertinent to short-term purchases if you're trying to turn them over. If you buy a home and you plan on living in it for 40 years, then it's probably not as big a factor.
Probably not. So if you purchased a home 10 years over the last decade, you have been paying down the principal and the value of the property has been appreciating. So you are building equity in both directions. But if you just recently purchased your home and the market hasn't appreciated the way you wanted it to, and you financed all the closing costs, didn't put a down payment, you might off the bat be negative in your equity.
And we're seeing this happen nationally and in our local real estate market.
Yes, this is a national trend, and it is also consistent with what's going on in Savannah.
You mentioned a couple of them, but what are some factors that can create negative equity?
Well, depending on when you purchased the home, as I said, if you purchased your home recently, then there just hasn't been enough time for your property to appreciate. Also, if you financed or if you financed the closing costs or if you didn't put down any money for a down payment, this is very common with VA loans. Like when I took out a VA loan back in 2017, I didn't put any money down, which was great. So it allowed me to keep some cash in my pocket. However, if I had wanted to sell that home quickly, I would have been what they say is underwater. So when I go to actually sell the property, we now owe more to that mortgage than what someone is willing to pay for the home.
Timing in real estate is such a big factor. Of course, when you bought, if you bought too high in the market, that can be a detriment as well.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, during the craze of COVID, where you had multiple buyers trying to get the same house, a lot of folks did overpay. They might have put down an extra $10,000 to get that house that they really wanted. Well, the problem is, if the value of the home didn't catch up to that, you may have overpaid for your house. And without enough time in the market, you can't really catch up.
So people might not be able to control these factors, but there is something that they can do to address if they have negative equity in their home.
Absolutely. So I would say consider renting. So we've been getting a lot of calls recently from folks who are having trouble selling their home for the price that they want and the amount of time that they want. And I say to them, have you considered renting? You'd be surprised how few people have actually considered that as an option.
Yeah, because now all of a sudden you're generating income rather than seeing money go out the door.
Absolutely. So when you rent your property out, somebody else is going to be paying you the holding costs. So you're going to be paying down the principal, which increases your equity. Also, with more time in the market, then it's going to appreciate. You also get all the tax benefits of renting out a property.
Yeah, and if you keep it on the market for a while, or if you rent it for a while, there's a good chance that market that is kind of working against you is going to work for you eventually.
Absolutely. So on the flip side, with it being a difficult market to buy or sell in, a lot of people are being forced to rent. So there is a great demand out there for rental properties, especially in Savannah.
I'm sure Home Buyers of Savannah has all this information online. Where can folks find it and find you?
So they can give us a call anytime, 912-513-8744, or just Google Home Buyers of Savannah. We pop right up.
Patrick, thanks so much. It's always interesting to hear kind of the behind-the-scenes stuff in the real estate market and find out why these trends are happening.
Thank you.
Thanks.